Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's time to review the first ever officially released Michael Myers figure, and that's by Macfarlane here. He's front and center, and behind him is the evolution over the years. Michael Myers and official releases. So you've got the Macfarlane figure in the front. That is from 1978's Halloween. The original Michael Myers, the shape. And then just here we have the NECA version, which has been modified or changed the hair and did a little work on this one, but that is the 1978 version of Michael Myers by NECA, the first one they did. Well, we're still hoping that they do another one someday, but there's some, license issues and stuff. And then we have the recently released NECA Ultimate Halloween 2 Michael Myers, the blood eyes there and the scalpel. And then way back there, you've got the retro cloth NECA Michael Myers from the 2018 movie. And then over there, you have a pretty heavily modified Ultimate NECA 2018 Myers. And in the background, you have the cool display that comes with the Macfarlane fig here, front and center. So I'll do a comparison later on during the review, but just wanted to start off by showing you something cool. I thought that looked nice. Might pop that on Instagram, take a couple of pictures. But let's get stuck into the review on this guy. The first ever one released. Let's see how he holds up. Massive shout out to Josh Adams. He's the one responsible for this Macfarlane figure being here in front of me tonight. Thank you so much, Josh. I hope you enjoyed the review. I can't believe it's finally here in front of me. I've thought about owning this figure for a long time, but it seems to be quite tricky to track down on the eBay. I mean, they're on there sometimes, but this is an old figure. It does go for quite a fair bit of money. They also made this in quarter scale, which I'm sure is fantastic also. Oh, he looks like he's wearing a white t-shirt. That's not right, but we'll get to that. But thank you very much, Josh Adams, for making this happen. Really, really appreciate what you did, man. Well, I didn't notice this before, but it's got all the information right here on the back of his leg. 1999. And Macfarlane Toys made in China. 1999. I was 19, but a wee lad. And here he is. See the eyes inside the mask. Little bit funky, but I wouldn't, if it was any other figure, I'd be tempted to go in there with a bit of black paint and see what I could do about that. But not on this piece. This is, like I say, it's the first ever, as far as I'm aware, I think it's the first ever officially released Michael Myers figure. So it's a little piece of history here, especially for someone like me with the Myers collection. I mean, to have the very first thing, obviously value-wise, it's nothing like it, but it makes me think of that Spider-Man comic, the first Spider-Man that you see sometimes. It goes for a lot of money. Obviously, this is a totally different thing, but it's just special, kind of like that to me. I did have to change his knife. Unfortunately, when Josh sent it over, everything arrived perfectly, but I know how fragile these knives can be, especially back in the older days, like 1999. But unfortunately, it did break off at the handle. But this one looks much better. It's actually a 2018 looking knife. But I'll see what I can do about that in the future. It's not a big deal to me as long as he's got a cool looking knife in his hand. So that is not actually the knife that you get with him. But the coveralls, very much a navy blue here with some black kind of shading, which is a nice effect. And for a figure as old as this, I am quite impressed with the sculpt and the wrinkles and the detail. No pocket flap. What's that about? He's got no pocket flap. He should have a pocket flap right here. So over here on the NECA one, you can see there's a pocket flap. But those in the know will know that there should definitely be some flap action here, and there isn't. And I don't know why that is the case. Also, the white t-shirt, what looks to be the beginnings of a white t-shirt, just showing there. That is not accurate. It should be black. And the boots, they are, they're sculpted pretty well, but they're the Vietnam jungle boots in the movie. There should be around this area here in the middle, should start to have some like green color, and that's not there. And but the hair is sculpted nicely. I mean, remember how old this piece is, and the mask looks all right. I'm going to try and get the shadows to fall a bit here to hide the eyes. That's a bit better, but yeah, it's not that great as far as accurate to the movie. But I've got to take into account price point on something like this. I mean, the Macfarlane figures were the first ones that I ever started collecting. In fact, the Freddy Krueger one, not the one that Josh sent, but the other one that I've had for a while, that was the very first, collectible of this kind that I ever bought. It's the one that started it all, really. But, despite the inaccuracies, it's a very cool looking piece. Just hit that brightness. There we go. Poseability does have some. I'll get into that now. So poseability wise, we have, obviously you can turn his head. It's pretty stiff, but it will do it. In fact, you know what? From that angle, right there, got to say that I do think the mask looks really good. You know, obviously still not perfect, but it is starting to make me think, oh yeah, that's 78 Mikey in there somewhere. Just certain angles. Yeah, very stiff turning the head, and you can see his waist is kind of going with him as well. You get some waist turn action, but then that's going to seriously distort the figure, but it is an option. You can, this is very stiff as well. It's tricky because I've got a dodgy finger here, so I can't really do it as I usually would. But yeah, very, very stiff, he says. Well aware of the fact that the word stiff is starting to become a little bit awkward, so we'll start using another word. Hard to move. That will do. His hand here is pretty cool. He's got some proper Cumberlands, man. He's got some sausage fingers going on. Let me just see if I can just give you some... Oh, yeah. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, it's cool. They did put in the work. Well, yeah. I don't... They are some... Yeah. That is interesting. I didn't notice how sausage-like his fingers were. That is mental. But yeah, I mean, the time, 1999, it's a long time ago. You do the math. Oh, yikes. Porridge. He looks like the Sandman or some yeah. Got that seam going across the knuckles there as well. So, you know, of the time, you know, gonna be nice. I still like it. Still really like it. It's the original, man. It's the OG figure. Awesome to have this. What other articulation you got? Oh, you got a little bit of foot swivel. Yeah, foot turn action. They don't move up and down or anything, but they do turn left and right to help you nail the balance. Let me just zoom out a touch. Oh, he's zooming in instead of zooming out. There we go. I still think it looks badass though, man. I mean, yeah, the hands on closer inspection are kind of funny looking, but from regular viewing distance, it's all right. I like it, man. I like the pose. I know it's stuck in this kind of... I mean, you can either have him... Obviously, it turns there a bit as well, but that's going to, again, distort the wrinkles, and it won't match up. I think it's supposed to be about there. But yeah, he stands up all right. But I can't stress enough. I mean, for the time, for how things kind of were back then, this was, you know, more than satisfactory, I'm sure, to the hungry 78 Myers fans. You know, the first ever one brought out. And this ain't too bad. It could have been worse. And it is a piece of history. Let's get a look at the pumpkin. Yeah, it's not too bad. Doesn't light up or anything like that, but it's sculpted nicely and painted well. I mean, it's the right kind of... It does look like... pretty much like that real pumpkin kind of look. And it is quite, you know, kind of gritty and grimy. It's a nice pumpkin. Now, he is a lot smaller than... other kind of 7-inch. I don't know. I mean, the Macfarlane figure's sort of 7-inch scale. I'm not sure, because putting him next to the 7-inch scale NECA Myers, I mean, the height difference is ridiculous. I have to pan back to get him in. Yeah, some serious height difference here. But this guy was pretty much stuck in... I mean, you couldn't... I actually like the fact that both of these, though, don't have that kind of nappy line that you get with the more recent kind of Ultimate NECA figures for articulation. Obviously, it's great, gives you great articulation in the legs, but I don't like seeing it because my eye always goes to that awkward kind of nappy line. See what I mean? Here, it just looks a bit odd. It's not bothering me as much on the Halloween 2 here as it did on the 2018 one, which I did try to kind of correct that by sculpting over it and blending the paint. So, I mean, you can see, once I point it out, you can kind of see where I've done it. But just, I get used to seeing it now, and it doesn't really bother me anymore. Anyway, but yeah, the height difference is pretty intense. But yeah, back to these two, and the NECA version from 78 Myers. I wonder if they will ever bring us another one. I mean, they're bound to eventually. They'll figure out a way to get it done, but they didn't really seem, in some of the kind of tweets I've seen over the years, it's very short replies that they sometimes give. And there's not much hope in their replies either. It's kind of just like, look, it is what it is, we're not doing it, kind of a thing. But hopefully, I mean, the demand is there. Sure is. I mean, there's mods you can do to this one. I mean, myself and many other people on YouTube have kind of done our attempts at turning this into the 78 version. So that's on the channel, and other people, like I said, have done it too. It's quite a popular little mod going on at the moment. It's fun to do, that's for sure. And it's nice to see all the different results from different folks. Now again, remember I did completely replace the hair and do it again with super sculpty clay and then painted it brown. I had loads of little horns and flicks of hair sticking out, but unfortunately I broke them off by handling it too much, so I might need to do it again. And did a little bit of a repaint on his mask and weathered it a little bit, but that's about it. But articulation on this guy is pretty limited as well. And again, the same thing. You can turn here, but it distorts the suit, the coveralls. There was no turn in the waist, nothing in the legs, just a tiny bit of movement in his feet, barely anything. And this arm can move up and down, in and out, and turn here, and the wrist turns a little bit. And the head can look quite far down and look quite far up. But you gotta see that the NECA version here really did a good job with the sculpt. You know, I mean, the hair that was on there originally doesn't help it, but I think once I did this to the hair, it really brought out the likeness on the 78, the original shape. See, a little bit of brown paint just fell off now because I'm handling it too much, but I'm going to do it again soon anyway. I'll probably film it and let you guys see the process and stuff. I've already done that on the channel with the Halloween 2 version. And we have the Rob Zombie version here as well. All in all, there are 6 figures, Michael Myers figures on the desk right now. But obviously that's Tyler Mane, Michael Myers, so he would be huge. That's the height difference there. I am rocking this look because I've got the quarter scale version and I've got that wearing the actual Myers mask, but that was a great Myers figure. That really is. The articulation, again, not great on this one, but it doesn't matter because the sculpt and everything's so well done. And to be honest, like with the Myers stuff, I prefer this just solid sculpt here. Do what you want to the arms, give it all the articulation in the arms you want, plenty of head movement. But if you ask me, I prefer this to be seamless and movie accurate looking. But it is an action figure, so you need to be able to do action figure type things, so I get it. It is what it is. So I've put him in one of the only other poses you can really do with this guy. I'm probably missing a couple of poses here and there, but basically you just get him reaching out and lifting up the knife and kind of turn his head to look in the direction that his hand's reaching. And that's about it as far as options, but that does look epic from the side view. And does make me instantly think of when he comes out of the door and grabs that dude and pins him to the wall with the knife. I mean, maybe that's what they were thinking with this, because if I could just get this a bit higher up, it's very hard to do, and when you do it, it kind of wants to go back again. Don't want to force it too much, but that does make me think of him about to pin that guy to the wall in that classic infamous scene. So yeah. Here he is next to the pretty recently released Retro Cloth 2018 Myers by NECA. That's him there. Now I have taken the head off the body and filled the hole that the joint would go into with blue tack, because when his head is fully... Whoa, we lost him. Yeah, we really lost him. He's gone. Oh, anyway, let's try something else. Remember how I mentioned that if you take off the head of the Ultimate 2018 NECA figure... let's see how the Retro Cloth head looks on here. Now, it does look a little bit big. Definitely does. But it's surprisingly cool. Nah, he looks a bit weird, doesn't he? Plus the cameras... Whoa, lost another. Yeah, he looks really stumpy. But from the side profile, that doesn't look too bad. Again, this is the Retro Cloth version head on the 7-inch Ultimate figure by NECA. You know, this one has all the posability, but... yeah, I mean, that's not... it's too big, but I don't know. Maybe with certain tricks with the camera, I could maybe... I mean, certain angles, like from just seeing like that much there, that would look pretty cool in a photograph, I think. But I've never done any modifications to the Retro Cloth head. I've never painted anything on this. I could do. Yeah, maybe one day. Kind of like the sculpted hair on this. No problem with that. And the mask is such a good sculpt and the details are really good. Maybe just a little bit of paint. Doesn't really need it that much. But yeah, that's what the retro cloth head looks like on the Ultimate body. I mean, yeah, it's too big, but it's not that bad. I don't know. I'm sure some of you are thinking, yeah, that don't look too bad, and the other half are thinking, that looks stupid. Anyway, back to normal. And so yeah, I just don't want his head to click all the way down because it makes the collar look really, really too big for him. And in the movie, you can see the collar comes exactly to where I've got it here, right along the jawline, which is it just makes the figure look a bit better. And plus, it takes away some of that silly stumpy look that the retro cloth figures can sometimes have. Just helps elongate him a little bit. And I grab his legs here, the material for the coveralls. I always pull it down as much as possible and hope that it kind of stays down, because the more you do that, the better it looks. Again, from that angle, it's not really doing it any favors, but again, I'll just hit this brightness. There you go. Don't look too bad. I don't know, maybe the head's sitting a bit too high, but you can't win. If it's too low, it looks really kind of comical, and if it's too high, it looks like giraffe neck, but what you gonna do? Anyway, just show you these two together, because it's freaking cool. So, here's Halloween 1. Actually, that should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Yeah, you got Halloween 1, Halloween 2, both by NECA. This one unmodified, this one modified because of the head, and the hair has been changed. But otherwise, everything is as it should be. Here's the other head for the clean head. Well, it's not too clean, but minus the blood dripping from the eye holes, because Laurie is an exceptional shot. And here is the Ben Tramer head that I modified into the 78 head. So how do you like that, ladies and gentlemen? Do you like that? You like that, don't you? Give me some of that close-up action. Look at that hair. Did that my damn self. Look at the detail on that hair. Get a bug. 1978. The shape. Yeah, man. It was fun to do. And here is the Mezco 1/12 scale Michael Myers figure. Now, I wasn't going to include him. I was going to keep it between all the NECA stuff and the Macfarlane, because they are, two separate companies, but, a lot of people have a few of each in their collection, especially if they've been collecting a good sort of 15 years or so. But, it's a smaller piece, but just worth showing because it is one of the few officially released 1978 Michael Myers figures. Now, I did have and do still have the 1/6 scale officially released Sideshow Collectibles Halloween 78 figure, but I modified the hell out of that, and that was many, many years ago. I still have it in pieces in various drawers around me on this desk, but it's not worth even trying to show you that. It's unrecognizable. But yeah, just worth showing you the Mezco piece here. Check out the other videos on the channel involving this figure, because it is definitely worth looking at. They're almost the same size, but not quite. He's definitely bigger. But it is interesting to see these two side by side, because that's definitely a 1/12 scale figure, and I don't have the packaging, and I've always assumed that these were like 7-inch scale figures, but we've seen, this is way shorter than the NECA version, which is right there. It's huge compared to that one. But this here, the Halloween 2, is absolutely definitely a 7-inch figure as far as I'm aware. And he is also way bigger than the Macfarlane piece. So maybe this is a different scale right here. Maybe this is a different scale. He's closer to 1/12, as you can see. They're standing right side by side, and he's not that much taller than the Mezco one. I don't know. It's interesting. Worth showing you. Do love this NECA figure here from the 2007 Halloween film by Rob Zombie, starring Tyler Mane as Michael Myers. And this is just an awesome piece, man. Came with some great stuff. You got the knife here that I don't really ever use too much, and obviously the Michael Myers mask, which I'll put that on now, but it's nice to have at least one version of Mikey on the shelf that looks like this version, because I know I said it before, it always reminds me of Adam Jones from Tool. That just every time I see it, Take that off. Put it on. Press it down. There you go. So on the quarter scale version of this, it looks alright here, but the hair on the quarter scale version, it just looked way too like a big fake lump of plastic on his head meant to be hair. So I did pull it off because it's a separate piece, heat up the head, and same deal on this one as well. I'm pretty sure you just heat up the head and pull this off because it is separate. And then I just added real hair and it looks awesome, but I won't be doing that to this version. I like it the way it is. And this was not cheap. I can't remember how much it was. It was a while ago. I'm never very good at remembering what I paid for stuff. Once it's done kind of thing. But it just looks awesome. This is such a accurate looking piece. I love the way they did the collar. That is just how it is in the film, because in the film it is up at the back, but it comes down at the front. I'm talking about the collar. You can see that in the swimming pool scene near the end of the movie, where he's facing away from us. The collar is up at the back and down at the front. And Necker caught that. So whoever sculpted this caught that well. And just the detail and the paint on it, really, 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 really nice. Not the most articulated figure, but absolutely satisfying to the eye and the base. Love that. Give you a close-up of this head. Again, it's very different, very creepy. I do like it. Alright, to wrap up the review, got him in some kind of nice moody lighting. I think he looks fantastic set up like this. I'm going to definitely be rocking his backdrop behind him. Just sets the piece off nicely, seeing that original poster art there. So this figure comes highly recommended by me, guys. It's an old figure now, like I said, 1999. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube of this piece out there already, but this is a nice HD video that was filmed today in 2020. So you've got a nice clear look at this piece, and I haven't done anything to it other than swap the knife. So other than that particular knife he's holding, this is what you'd be getting. And don't forget they made him in the 18-inch version as well. So yeah, maybe one day I'll have to go ahead and pick that up, because I can only imagine, you know. I'd probably mod the big one. The big one, I'd probably redo the hair and add real hair, do a bit of paintwork on the mask, see what I can do about the hands, but I don't know. We'll see about that in the future. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button. Helps out this video reach more people, and it's going to need it because, like I say, it's an old figure. There's plenty of people already reviewed this on YouTube, so this video could definitely use a boost. So you can do that by hitting the like button if you enjoyed it. And make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon next to the subscription button. That way you'll get notifications every time I upload a video, which will be important because I'm getting the Toys Era 1/6 scale Joaquin Phoenix Joker coming in any day now. And you know, those videos are going to be interesting. So check it out. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's the main one, really. That's where a lot of pictures and videos go up. Definitely worth checking me out on there. And if you want to join up with Patreon for $1 a month, doing the channel full time, so any help is appreciated, there's a link underneath the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you again, Josh, so much. Awesome gifts. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Bye-bye.